All right, there we go. So one of the things I would like to let everyone know, right at this moment, I'm developing separate chat rooms on Telegram. Pretty much we'll call it the library for every topic that we deal with. We've already started with the authentication of the birth certificate chat. We're starting to put information in there. We'll have the 1099 chat room. We'll have the status document chat room. We'll have the tax form chat room. So we will have these different areas where you will be able to individually go in, find the information you need specifically on those subjects. So you won't get lost in Telegram looking for certain information. This is going to make it much simpler. We're going to put the Q&As also in there for a lot of the typical questions that come about for those topics. So it's going to make everything a lot smoother, a lot easier, so those individuals won't feel like they're lost or the moderators are not getting to their questions, and making sure that it's a lot smoother pace for everyone to be able to keep up with their pace. And one thing I want you to know, there is no rush. I know a lot of people have anxiety, a lot of things are going on, but I just want you to know that this is not a speed race. This is not a fast-paced situation. I want everyone to realize that this is a time of having some organization, and also knowing that you learn it and you study at your pace. There is no rush for anything, because one thing about this process, it's not a fast process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. As we continue to communicate with the IRS, making the connection in the relationship with the Treasury, that does take time. Things have been submitted, but we're still waiting on processing on their end. So we're still doing what we need to do. We've done what we needed to do pretty much, but we still have to wait for the IRS and Treasury to respond and catch up, because they're not really employed enough or have enough employees to handle the bulk that is coming in worldwide. So please understand that it's not a lack on our part. Everything that PAI needs to do is being done, and a continuation of building a relationship with financial institutions, and also, again, communicating with the IRS and Treasury. One thing I do want to say is that, people still coming in, is that we are, I think, the only group that is actually doing teaching. And the reason I am taking this time to teach is because I don't want people to go out there and not know how to function. Once you become free, once you are out of debt, once you are able to live financially stable, we don't want to fall back into the system. You don't want to fall back into poverty. So this is one of the big reasons why I take the time to teach and have people study. It's not to prolong you, but it's to make sure that you're ready for what's coming, and also know that you are educated on everything that's going on. So that being said, I'm going to share some of the documents just to go over them, because I know some people were confused about a few things. I'm gonna do my sinus spray. Okay, I'm good, I'm good. Allergies is killing me up here in Michigan. Let's see here. So I'm gonna share my screen so we can look at a few documents, just go over them quickly. Okay. So first thing I want to go over, if I can shrink this down. is the checklist. Now, the checklist is something that's been implemented recently. I don't know if everybody's seen it or have been on the website to download it or copy it, but this is just a small guide to help you as newcomers, or even those that are kind of in the middle of a part of the process, so you can kind of get a guide of which way you need to go or what you have not completed. So this kind of is a checklist to give you that information. So main thing I would like people to do, which was gonna, like I said, which will be easier as we continue to open the chat rooms. They're gonna be like libraries for your information of specific topics. There may not be mods in there to answer questions, but you will, it's more of a self-help, more of a opportunity to review all the information. And then if there's a question that you have that is not in there, then you have the opportunity to reach out to a mod to answer those questions. And maybe also we'll be able to add that question to the list of Q&As for those specific subjects. So first thing we'd like you to do is review all videos and media in the Telegram sections, because that's going to change to the libraries. And you'll be able to find every piece of information possibly there that will be continued to be added to each category to help you along your journey. So the first part, again, is your birth certificate. Ordering the birth certificate, if you don't have one or looking for the long version, you start with the Secretary of State. Also, there is a document on the website, apostille versus authentication. It's on the website on the guides and link page. You can go there and review that information so you're educated of what's the difference. Once you have completed the Secretary of State level of authenticating your birth certificate, then you would send it to the federal travelstate.gov for the federal level. And the BS 4194 form is on their website for you to complete and send your authenticated state level birth certificate to them to do the federal. You have the option to do the Affidavit of Ownership, which is claiming the ownership of your birth certificate and getting that notarized. That would also stay with your birth certificate once you have everything completed on that level. And if you use your birth certificate for information purposes, let's say you're doing a let's say you're doing the remittance transfer, doing a payment voucher, because there are other remedies that we're going to discuss that while we're waiting for 1099s, other remedies that are available to assist us with getting rid of some debt and things in between while we're waiting on the IRS to clear some things. So when you send out things like that, you do have the option, well, I won't say the option, when you're doing remedies, remittance transfers using the coupons from your bills, if you have them in the mail, or even if you can download it from the website, you will actually put your birth certificate, authenticated copy, also the ownership document, a copy of that to send with your remittance transfer, so they'll know who you are and that you're on the creditor side and not the debtor side. Okay, so also, now this is not in a particular order, so don't feel like you have to go in this particular order. You can start wherever you choose on this, pretty much on this side. The TASA AmericanStateNational.org is where I require you to go and take that START test. That quiz is pretty much just a history test of how things began, where the whole baby scam came from, why you're doing your birth certificate, how many constitutions we have. It gives you a little history of our government, and just a short quiz to make sure that you have some awareness of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Status correction is optional. This also on TASA, AmericanStateNationals.org. And also I have copies of the documents for you. If you are looking to be out of the system, no longer be a US citizen, to be a national, it doesn't have to be a state national, but a national is basically who you were before the birth certificate was registered. So you're basically going back to your birth rights of being a national and not a citizen. So more information of that will be in the status correction library of the templates of the Telegram once that is set up completely. Now, also studying the HJR 192, which I put a link for that on the website. That is pretty much explaining to you where the remedy has started, that the United States is responsible for all debt. So this is something that you can read upon and get the knowledge and awareness of where it began. As you share this information with other people, this is something you can use to give them somewhere to start, give them a guide to show them, hey, you can go and look at this information yourself. Okay, so part 2. Now, doing the revocable trusts, I know some people have done them and just put their name or didn't put living trust, but you want to make sure if you haven't done it, to put living trust on your revocable trust. And some people have asked, why are we doing a revocable instead of irrevocable? Well, as time goes on, you want the opportunity to change your trust to maybe adding your family members, going deeper in debt of adding your assets, your homes, your cars, getting things off the commercial side and protecting it in your trust. So we leave that option available to you as we're just getting started to use your trust. Things will change later. If you do irrevocable, you won't be able to change those things once it's documented and notarized. So we always want to have that opportunity to change it until we are at the point of doing a foreign trust. This is just a first step. This is just the beginning of getting into the process. So that's why I request a revocable trust, because eventually it may be one of your family members that have studied the trust laws, or you may, have someone that you want in the future to be a trustee. So not saying I'm going anywhere, but I still want you to have your options. So that is why I request a revocable trust at this time. And please always make sure that there's no total at the bottom, because if it is, that means we always have to alter the trust every time we do a transaction. So we don't want a value at the bottom of the trust. Leave it at 0. And then when you get it notarized, again, you can use your local notary, show them the first page and show them the notary page. They do not have to have all of your pieces of document and information in between. Even though it's not a lot or information is not there, it is still private information. It's a revocable trust. They do not have to see that information. So first page and last page is the only thing that a notary needs to see. If you have any problems, which some people have for some reason, it's because some notaries are nosy, I'm assuming, I don't know. But we do have a virtual notary that works with us, and you are able to book an appointment with her. She's aware of our documents and no questions about anything. She'll go ahead and get it notarized for you. Most people ask why I am not there to notarize, because I don't have time, number one. And number two, at the opportunity of opening your trust account, that is when I will notarize in front of the bank manager. So as the funds come in, the accounts will be opened, and that's when I will notarize your trust, revocable trust. The trust agreements will be also signed. They don't have to be notarized, but the trust agreements I will sign again in front of or at the time of preparing your account. Now, also on that note, I wanted to let you know that you do have the option to open your own account. Now, if you have your EIN for the trust, you are more than welcome to go to any financial institution that does trust accounts and open your own account. One of the forms that is attached to the trust agreement that I presented is a joint. It's a joint form, authorization form, and it's also the beneficiary direction form. It has a place on there where you will put your bank account, your trust bank account information and where it's located. That is where I can have funds also transferred. It doesn't have to be me opening it directly. So I never mentioned that before, but I want to let you know you do have that option to go open your own account. Because eventually, like I said, when we get to that point of teaching you how to be your own trustee, if you choose, you'll be able to access your own account, or your other trustee or family member that is in that position can also take care of that. That is the options. But again, you can go open your own trust with that EIN trust number. Okay, so completion of the tax documents, Form 56. I was just looking at one of my previous videos. Mind you, I don't look at my videos. It's enough looking at myself. So I don't look at my videos. But I so happened, my husband asked me about one, and I looked at it, and I realized that I said in one of the first classes that we were not doing 56s. But I'm correcting that, because as I study and as information changes, so does choices that we make or that I make for us. So as I looked into it, yes, I found that it was beneficial and also a very important piece to make sure that everything was in place. So I am correcting myself from that video of saying, no, we're not doing 56 because it puts you back in the system. No, it actually opens the door for you to have that relationship with the IRS and Treasury to access your funds. So forgive me for my incorrectness, and I'm correcting it now to say, yes, we have to do the Form 56 in order to make sure that that bridge is connected to the IRS and Treasury. If you have not completed your EIN for your trust, I do have sample a template on the website, step by step, which will show you everything that you need to click on as you go through the irs.gov website to do the EIN application. Okay, I won't go all into that at this time, but just want to make sure that you know that that information is there on the website to complete your EIN. And we also give that option to do that for you, long as we have the proper information that we request on the e-sign or DocuSign that we send out to you after you've requested the service. We send those out to get the proper information needed to complete the services for you. The 8855, the 1041, all of that information I'm going to be showing you. We're going to go over those documents shortly just to make sure you are clear on some information that's on them, because I know it was some confusion for a while, especially in Telegram. All right, so the checklist, I'm going to go back over that checklist to make sure that everything is current, but there is the checklist also on the website that tells you everything you need to have in order to have a complete file. We do have the level 1 completion quiz that is on the website. We will have other quizzes that will be implemented to the website just to make sure that everyone is on the same page of understanding and that we're basically making sure that you do know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay, so they're pretty easy. So there's nothing major to worry about or have to do major studying for. Okay, so the review of the 1099 tutorial, we're going to do an update on that one. It is pretty much standard, but I still want to do an update video on that to make sure that if there has been changes, which we have with the bill pay, with us doing it, has changed from that previous video. So we're going to update that to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Let's see. At the end of all of this, you're going to be reading information on the secure parties and becoming a SPC, learning UCC codes, USC codes, and studying the Black Law Dictionary. That is part of something we have to do in order to understand the language that is used pretty much against us. We have to study it and know it and change our vocabulary in order to be able to pretty much use what the government uses against us, against them. And I won't say it in a against them, is pretty much educating ourselves of their language. So I want to go to, let's see, is this it? Yes, this is the 8855. This is the form for election to treat and qualified revocable trust as part of an estate. Now, when you do your revocable trust, there is an option for an estate. We will go into an estate situation later as you're adding your assets. Okay, so that is nothing to deal with at this time. Again, part one, you're completing it with the same name that is on your revocable trust in all caps, because we're dealing with the entity, the dead entity. So you want to make sure that it's all caps. That way it's identifiable to them, because you're going to also put your upper and lower case so they know that you are the beneficiary living individual. Okay. So your address or PO box, if you have a PO box, that's preferable because you don't want them always addressing you. So, but if you don't have a PO box, your street address is fine. Just make sure it's completed. And you do put your zip in the, it's good to put your zip, get used to putting your zip codes in the brackets, because that takes you out of the federal system. It'll still mail the same way, but you want to start using that. So your trust EIN goes here, not your social, your trust EIN, the one is you create from the irs.gov. You want to make sure it's domestic at this time, because later you're going to be doing this, but right now it's domestic. Also, date of executor's appointment, your date of birth, and when the year that you turned 18. Okay, 18 or 21, but I would say 18 because they consider you an adult at 18, but not just 21. You're just legal to drink at 21. Okay, so this is the one that I would sign as the trustee. Okay, if you have not, I did see some in the emails that I'm going through and getting the signatures on. You'll be getting those back shortly. And please know, I do not try to work on Friday nights and Saturdays, except for class time. But that's for me to have weekend time to gather myself, get myself back together, and get ready for Monday. Valerie takes the weekend off also, so we can keep our minds fresh for you guys. So if I peek in on Telegram or anything, I'm just being nosy. But I usually try to take Friday nights and Saturdays, some Sundays off to relax my mind. So if I don't respond to you on the weekend, please know I'm trying to get myself together. Okay, so same thing here. Complete information. Now here, name of trustee, that's where you put the KJ, private advisory investments. Now, the reason you see the FLLC, because I created it as a foreign LLC. Okay, so some people was asking, why is it an F? That's why. It's a foreign LLC. I'm prepared to make sure everything is eventually transferred over to a foreign estate for the company itself. It's under a trust. The company was created under a trust. So everything is in place. Okay, so we went over that one. And let's see, the Form 56. Now, we had a few questions regarding the Form 56 because some people saw a couple of different ways it was done. Let me explain. This one here, now there are some individuals that have clearly stated that they are not ready, nowhere near want to be ready to be their own trustee. So when I did the 56 with individuals putting their name and their, let me see, here's the other one. Okay, so like this one, this is the original way I had it set up. And this was the beneficiary, the trustee way of setting it up. So if you saw both processes, both types, it's because, and it should have been said beforehand, and I apologize for any confusion, this is for those that want to eventually be their own trustee. You will put your fiduciary name, your name is the fiduciary in small, lowercase, lowercase, uppercase letters, last, first, middle, and beneficiary. First line would be your all caps name, the same as on your Social Security card, and your Social Security number without the dashes, okay? Same information here. Now this is valid trust instrument because that pertains to your Social Security card. That's why that is marked. This one is marked power of appointment to zero out all accounts. All these are marked. You have the option to mark the rest of them if you choose. It's not going to cause an issue if they're all marked. But holdings and returns, this is what this is regarding. Tax notices, holdings and returns. All your tax forms, the 1040s, the 1041s, 940 forms. Once we get into those, you'll know what those are, or you can look them up. Also 1099s and all necessary forms. You can go, now some people do 3 years back because by law they can go 3 years back to deal with your tax history. And some people put from their birth, not their birth year, but the age of 18 or 21, when you first had your job or first started, being responsible for yourself. You can put that year and ongoing. So that is optional. It's not something that's going to affect the document itself for them to make decisions or anything like that. It's just stating where you want them to start on reviewing your history of pretty much your funds, of how long you've been in the system of trying to eventually get that money back. That's pretty much what this is. Okay, so this here, terminating all foreign corporation fiduciary relationships. This right here, and somebody, I can't believe it, but somebody said that they got fired for this statement. If they're using your Social Security number at a job that's a foreign company or something, and using your, basically using your social as a stock with that, and that's what this is regarding to. Okay, this is what this is stating. All those foreign countries that was on the e-utility website that you saw that was using your social, this is what this is terminating. Now it takes some months for that to cancel out. anywhere from 6 to 9 months. But this is what that is for. All foreign corporation fiduciary relationships that have been utilizing your social security number over the years. So somebody was like, you got me fired. No, you got yourself fired because you probably weren't doing your job. This has nothing to do with someone getting fired. Just wanted to put that out there. So now going back to this one. Now, if you are not ready or not wanting to eventually be your own trustee, that's fine also. And this is how you would set your 56 up. Now, I know most of you have sent them out already, and that's fine. You don't have to change anything. But I'm just giving you this information for future references and to clear up any misunderstandings. So the all caps name, everything the same, but you would put the United States Treasury, Secretary of Treasury, IRS, you can add the IRS in there. Now, some people were putting Janet Yeller or whatever the lady's name is that's over the Treasury. I'm not going to argue with anybody about what you want to put, who you want to put. My opinion is if that lady died tomorrow, you're going to have to go back and change this. So if you put the entity itself, then you shouldn't have any problems. Whoever is in office still has the responsibility. Okay, and this should be its assessors because I'm not doing her or him. Okay, so understand your choice, your option, not for me to direct you on, except saying my opinion. I'm not putting a individual on anything to have them as responsible and something happens to them. You have to change that. Leave it open for yourself to have the entity responsible. So whoever's in office at any time, you're still good and don't have to change your documents. Okay, same information here, nothing different. And see, this one is 2014 and going. I don't know who was born in 2014, but it is what it is, just an example for the year that you want to start it. Same information. And if you use this Treasury or IRS as the fiduciary, you would leave that blank for them to sign. Okay. All right, the 1041. 1041, all caps of the living trust name. Okay. You're going to also put your trust EIN. Fiduciary, again, on this one, there was a conflict. You can put the Treasury if you choose, or you can put yourself if you choose. It's not going to damage you either way that you want to put it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to harm anything. So you have a choice, yourself as the fiduciary or the Treasury. Me as your trustee, my part's on the 8855 and on the revocable trust. So I'm still covered as your trustee regardless. Simple trust or complex, you can check both of those because in situations, year to year, things may change. You may have major transactions and then sometimes you may not have a lot of transactions. So this is to protect you taxing wise. And that is where I come in, making sure that your transaction beneficiary statements are presented to you every 6 months to a year. Also, there's a 3520A form that I have to fill out and send in to make sure you're not taxed on your trust. So that's part of my responsibility. Again, the initial return, if this is your first time sending it in, if it's an amendment, you're fixing it, mark that box. Here, date of entity, the date of your birth, and the year you turned 18. Okay, so everything in the columns are empty pretty much. If you're doing the fiduciary for yourself, That's where you put your social here. If you're having the Treasury as your fiduciary, you put their EIN number here. All right. So just for clarity. Okay, so you see everything is zeroed out. Now, everything here, you'll get your opportunity to read through these. Did the estate or trust receive tax exemptions? So as you are first doing these, this is your first submission, everything is no. All right, and that's pretty much it on this form. So that's just kind of a quick review of the documents that I wanted to go through, and also just make sure everyone is on the same page of the information so there's no more confusion. And I'm going to say that if you see other information put in the telegram that myself or Valerie did not put, please take it with a grain of salt or bring it to our attention and say, Ms. Jackson or Valerie, is this information correct? Because sometimes we don't see it when it comes in. We do have people delete things that are not regarding our process because there is a lot of information out there. There is a lot of people doing things differently. I'm not saying that everybody's is wrong, nobody else's is right. I'm not saying anything regarding the different processes that other people take. Long as you add the 4 and the 5 and you get 9 and you got 8 and 1 and it's still getting to be the answer 9, that's what matters. But I don't want to cause conflict of information to confuse others. It's very easy to cause that. So please do not jump and go wacky when you see stuff that doesn't coincide with the process that I'm presenting. I've done my research. I've done a lot of studying to make sure that we are on the same page of the process that needs to be completed. Also, I just had a brain fart, excuse me, because I was going to say something important and it just left. I can't remember what it was right now. It'll probably come to me after the class. Anyway, so, okay, I'm going to allow everyone to ask their questions up until 8:30, and then we will end the class. I'm hoping that I addressed a lot of your questions regarding the documents. Also, a lot of people are asking about time frames. Right now, I'm putting together every section's time frame, estimated time frame, because nothing is set in gold. So I'm going to make sure that you have an idea of how long things should take. Now, IRS-wise, we can't even put that one together yet until we actually start getting the transactions completed, which once we actually have this relationship built, which we're that close, then I can actually give you a time frame once the first thing comes through. We have had notification that things are going to be presented. Everything is going to go through. We just don't know exactly when. And also, I do want to say, I do apologize to those that are in emergency situations, but we're not in position as the company that we are to assist those in emergency situations. We don't have funding. We don't have a way to kind of speed things up. We don't have the outlet to assist at this time. And I really wish that there is something we can do. But I do try to share as much information as I can for other ways or other remedies or other options. This is not a company of emergencies, unfortunately. So in saying that, those that have certain situations, court cases, evictions, you know, it's just a lot of things that are going on with everybody. And I do pray for those that have these situations, but this is not one of those companies that can rush anything. So again, my apologies, and I will do what I can to refer you to those that can help you, but I don't want people to feel like they are counting on us to help them in an emergency, because it doesn't work like that. And I am looking to eventually set up a fund, donation funding as things go on to help those that are in emergencies. But at this time, with us just building the foundation, we're not in position to do that. So again, my apologies, but my hands are tied. So, okay, I will begin with the hands up, and we'll start with Tammy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Yes. I have a question about my birth certificate.
Sure.
I was born in Japan through the military.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Department of State Foreign Service of the United States of America certificate of birth aboard.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering how would, because right now I'm sending for a new birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably take a few months. So I already paid for it. So now I'm wondering how that's going to tie in with being able to authenticate my birth certificate.
Well, you are going to have to go through the service. You will have to go through the federal government service department to actually deal with that, because you were born in Japan. You have a United States birth certificate, but you were born in Japan through the service. So that is how you're going to have to go through that. Unless you are in Washington, D.C., and there's a facility right there by you, you're going to have to do the mailing and the wait time. Where are you located?
Baltimore. I would say about 45 minutes from Washington, D.C.
Okay. So this is what I'm suggesting. Go online and double check with the Army Reserve. Was it the Army, Navy?
Air Force.
Air Force. Okay. Check with the Air Force. You may be able to find something on the website, or you may need to make some phone calls and ask them what steps you directly need to take. But you will have to go through the service to get that done.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, Teresa.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So my question was, I started doing the 1099As online for like my mom, because I don't have anything in my name to get paid.
Okay.
So what happened was it got accepted, of course. And so now they are like the company is reaching out to her like everything is getting paid. And when she was asking me about it, I was like, well, see, I just ran across you because somebody was telling me, and I was like, so all the process, I was like, oh my God, you have to do all this, all the process, because I don't know what's going on. The 1099A got accepted, and the financial department called my mom and was trying to verify everything with her before they did their part. So does that mean that it's going to get paid?
Yeah, I mean, if they are reaching out and they're discussing it, about long as they are they basically giving you confirmation that they have it and they have the documents they need to process it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have my 1099As just came in.
Okay.
And I did it for my son. So it's like pretty much everybody in my household wanted to do the trustee and everything, for you to be our trustees. So I was just like, okay, I didn't know if you took a whole household.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because everybody has their 1099As. I got the 1096, I think it is. And then I got, the only thing is the 1040V. I didn't see where I can order that. Stop.
No, those you can actually have online. You don't have to, those don't have to be scannable.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you can do those online and print those off and fill them out. And what I'm suggesting is that you do the cross out payment voucher. You can cross out payment and put money order on there. You can write it in or you can type it in before you print it, you know. But put money order on there so they know that that is for the funds.
Okay. All right. And
did you do the hard copy or the online for your 1099 for the
I did the online.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did the online because I have the hard copies, and the only thing that I was telling my son, I was like, well, I mean, we can try to go to a dealership and see what they have, but I didn't know if that was because what was going on with my mom. So
yeah,
we didn't know whether to start shouting, praising God, and all that good stuff.
Right. And yes, because honestly, there's a lot of testimonies coming through. I was actually trying to get permission from a few people that's been in our chats, that's been on the website and have communicated with me that their bills are getting paid. So that is awesome.
And this is her house. Yeah, this is my mom's house.
Yes. I've had a couple people get their mortgage cleared, car notes cleared. So just know, people, things are working. They are working.
Yeah. What is your Telegram?
It is, I got to put the link back out. Actually, I did put the link back on the website. So if you go to frequently asked questions, the link that says, how do I get on Telegram? I reactivated it because I'm actually trying to get people to move around into level 2 and be able to go into the different libraries to get their information. So it's going to be a lot more organized. So this way we can open it back up to let others in. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Anthony.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Right. I'm with my wife. Yes, it is. I'm with my wife, Mary, and we have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
I guess on Thursday, we sent out some revised, was it
1099 A's for review?
For review.
Okay.
And I was just wondering if when should I hear or what should I do after that? I haven't heard back from anyone.
You sent them when? Friday?
Thursday
of last week?
Of this past week.
This past week. Okay. So that's just in there for a couple of days. You got a few people in front of you. So just be patient with me, please. Because we are actually getting someone in position that's going to handle the 1099 reviews. It's just right now I'm kind of doing an interview and getting a disclosure and confidentiality agreement with this individual because I'm very adamant about keeping people's information private. So I'm actually getting some help to go through this stuff because right now it's just been me and Valerie and it's been a little hectic, but we are getting people into positions because we know we're growing fast. So if you can be a little patient with us, there will be someone that's going to be in that email on a daily basis to check all of them. We've been doing it periodically, but it's not enough. So we're definitely going to, so give us about a week and a half, 2 weeks to actually get through there because it's about 300 right now. And we're still going through them. Because you can't just look at them and just say, okay, we have to just really examine and make sure everything's good. But once you actually get that initial review done, we know that you're doing it correctly. You do not have to submit again to us. All you need to do is make sure you upload it to the web account, the PAI website, create your account and load it there. That way, if we need to go in and get it to get things processed, we can get it right from there. Once you get that initial review, you're good.
Okay, because I actually had submitted an email and I did receive an approval.
Okay.
And then that's when I sent my wife's out,
Right behind it?
right behind, yep.
Okay, so it was probably me messing with going in, but I will double
Okay.
check it too, because I'll be going in
Okay.
Monday. I'm not
Okay.
working anymore today. I'll go in and check it Monday for sure.
That's
All right. And I
understandable.
did get approved when I submitted it to the IRS.
Yep.
Okay, now, one thing I do want to say, the system that they are using, long it is in the standard setup as the approval. It's just like when you get your taxes done. They say your taxes have been
Right.
accepted, right? So
Right.
do know that they still have to review it. That's where that 10
Okay.
days come in, where they're
Okay.
going to review it and make sure that it's acceptable to be processed.
Okay.
Okay. So after that part, then that's when the 1099 OID part comes in, which is accepted, but they still have to review it just as they do your taxes before they send your refund.
Okay.
It's the same
Okay.
process. So just let you know how that usually goes. It's a time frame, but it's, on their time.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All
And one
right.
last question.
Sure.
If I did this for my dad, if I want to do the 1099A on the 1099 online website,
Mm-hmm.
would I go ahead, say if I want to pay his car off, would I put in his lender information and then the US Treasury as the lender, then his lender as the borrower?
You would put your dad's name as the lender and the
As a lender.
corporation as the borrower. And
Okay.
because they're going to get the 1099.
Okay.
Okay. So that's who you send that to. Now, that's because you're doing it yourself. Now, if you were doing a bill pay, then it would be the treasury and the car company information.
Okay.
And that would be coming to us. But yeah, if you're doing it yourself, make sure it's your dad's name and the lender's name. I mean, the company's name. Okay. And make sure you cover any interest, because when you do a payoff, they add interest per day. So make
Right.
sure it's way over the amount, so it makes sure it's covered during the wait period.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. All right, Rhonda Johnson.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
Good, good.
Pardon my driving.
That's all right.
Um,
Long as you're safe.
Yes. I didn't want to miss it, so I'm still in the car.
That's all right.
I did have a question.
Sure.
Will there be a way on the website in our accounts to see the documents that we've uploaded already? Because
I am working on that.
Okay, because I did do the agreements, both
Mhm.
the consultant agreement and what's the trustee agreement. I've
Okay.
done both of those, and I think that I've uploaded the 56, the 8855, and all the other documents, but I can't remember.
You
So
can't
I
see
was
it.
like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
would be nice.
just recently found out that no one was able to see their files when they go in. So I am waiting to contact my web guy to help me figure out why you guys can't see it. So there will be some adjustments. If anything's flickering and acting crazy next week on the website, it's because I'm in there making sure that you guys can get to your files. So as soon as that is fixed, I will put it in Telegram or just let you guys know one way or another that you are able to go in and see your files.
Okay. And then with the 1099As, I've only submitted one that got accepted, and I did send I sent the OID forms, the 1040B and everything to the finance company. I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Okay. Have you reached out to them?
No, I haven't reached out to them.
You got to reach out to them
When
because they will
when I
ignore
did
it.
reach out to them, I just got into a merry-go-round of voicemail, like automated systems. I couldn't get to a person. So
contact the corporate office. See if you can reach someone at the corporate office.
okay, but when I want to submit a 1099-A for bill pay for you guys to handle, do I do that as with the way that I did it before with me as the lender and the company as the borrower, or the treasury as the lender and me as the borrower?
Yeah, you're going to do it with the treasury.
Account.
You do it with the treasury because we're going to pull the funds for you.
Okay, so once that's approved,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would submit that to you. Once that's approved, I would upload that to the site.
Yes.
Or send that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You would, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you do that, and make sure you have the expense sheet with it, or like the bill with it, so that way we know exactly what it's for, how much it is. Make sure you cover your 20% for your pocket, and also the 8% for the transaction fees, trustee fees, and that way you've got enough in there to make sure it's all covered.
Okay, and you said I could do up to 4 accounts per 1099-A?
Well, you know what? Here's an easier way to do.
Okay.
Total out the total amount of your bills and put bill expenses in the description. Just make sure that your expense sheets or your bills, well, I would still say break it down on an expense sheet so we can know exactly what everything is, and send a copy of each bill, and we know who we need to send it to and how much needs to go.
Okay.
That's to really make it simplified, because I did have everyone trying to list it and put the account numbers. Make sure that your expense sheet or the actual bill itself with the account number, their contact information, because that's going to make our lives a whole lot easier and be able to communicate. And do know I will be, I don't want to run into any complications when I'm contacting your debtor creditors, because I'm going to be sending out a authorization form. So if they say that who I am and why am I calling on your behalf about this account, I can send them an authorization form with your signature giving me permission to speak with them. Okay, so be looking for that soon. So that'll be all in place for those that are doing bill pays, because I don't want to run into any complications when I'm ready to start communicating with the bill people, your entities.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All I see is iPhone. Okay, here we go. Hello. Where'd he go? I don't see you. Let me see. Hey, you're still muted. You gotta unmute. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay. Let's see. All right.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Nope, that's okay. Go ahead.
My question is, if you receive disability, I get disability.
Mm-hmm.
With doing this process with your birth certificate and the whole process, will that throw me out of the system and they stop the disability?
No, they will not. No, not at all.
Okay.
That's your benefits, and you are to get everything they give you. Okay, you already earned it. So it's not going to affect you whatsoever, because I'm in the same situation.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and I have one more question.
Sure.
When you're doing the 1099As online, to pay bills. Do you need a trustee for that?
No, not for bill pay. Nope, because you're sending them out yourself. You're sending them directly to the company or corporation entity. So you're dealing directly with them. It's your job to communicate with them, make sure that you follow up with them, that they're processing, make sure they have the proper documentation and instructions. And I'm going to put out a template for you guys that are doing your bill pays on your own for an instruction sheet that needs to pretty much go with it. This way it's simplified and they have clear instructions because everybody doesn't know about this. See, we make that assumption that every corporation does, and you have a lot of people that are the customer service, the payout department, even some of the CEOs that don't handle the financials don't have a clue what this is for. Okay, so we have to make sure that they are aware and you tell them what they need to do. So I'll be putting that together and it'll be a template on the website. Give me a couple weeks to make sure I get that there, but do your follow up with the entities on a regular basis.
Okay, and one more thing. With the forms that you have online, do we print them out and fill them out in like writing on them, or do they have to be typed in there?
Which forms? The tax forms?
All of them, because it's like a lot. I like went through your video and kept stopping with every form that you had up and was writing notes, and then I play it and then I go back.
You can either look them up. Most of the documents I have are either online documents that you can find, and I usually try to give directions of where they are or links on the website of where they are. You can print them and write on them. Either way.
Because I downloaded the Adobe scan that you said. I haven't set it, but I said, okay, I'm going to try this because I'm just trying to get familiar with everything that I need and sending it to you. And I have to send it to you through the website, right?
Right.
Got you.
All right. All right. Is it Jacinda?
Jacinda, yep, you got it. Good evening.
Good. How are you this evening?
I'm good now that I'm finally getting a chance to ask you questions. Thank you so much for this.
No problem.
Okay. Well, I want to start off by saying I did utilize the 1099As. You know, I sent off at least 3, but the first one I sent off was an emergency situation. So I learned the hard way. I was trying to hire this lawyer that was ready to help me get my kids back. And like, I'm just as clueless as him. Like, I don't know when the money will come. So he's kind of just standing by. And my question with that is just aside from an emergency situation, but whenever you're waiting, like we don't know the length of time, what do we tell the company that we're dealing with or the service?
Basically, the only thing you can tell them is that I have my trustee working on it. I can't give you a time frame or tell them, hey, at least give me 30 days to, you know, have my trustee get things in order so funds can be transferred. How? Put the phone on do not disturb and they still disturb. Sorry about that. That's pretty much, you can basically say, you know, my trustee is working on getting all of my financials in order and that I will have an update for you within 4 weeks. So ask them to be patient or, you know, pretty much that's really the only thing we can do at this time. Or like I said, I'm going to be sharing some of the other remedies that are out there, like the remittance transfer. That does work as long as you have the documentation in place, as long as you have your information in place, they will work. So we're going to start sharing other ways to get things taken care of while we're waiting.
Okay, and is that a course you're going to do, or that's going to be on Telegram? The remittance?
It's going to be information put on Telegram. It's going to be a whole chat room for other remedies because I want everybody to be able to go where they need on there to get the information they need. I want to keep it real tight knit so no one's lost in the whole big bowl that level 1 is. So this way everybody can go different places to get what they need. And again, I'll be doing a video or so on some of the other remedies to make sure that everybody knows how, and some of the other video YouTubers, TikTokers that I know have done these different remedies, so we can start trying to implement them while we're waiting.
Awesome. And then my next question. So my third 1099 that got approved, I think by the third time I kind of did it more correctly, and I had the title company fill out the OID, and just kind of taught them about the process, because they were like, oh, we didn't know anything about this. So they were open, and I went ahead and put it in for like 2 million, because I'm looking at a home, down south. So
good.
I know it's gonna be like a long time. So
well, if they can do an ACH transaction, use a, what is it?
I do have their
the 8888. Have them do the 8888 form with that, with the 1040V as a money order to send it in, and have it go to their account. If you're working with them like that, they should be able to do an ACH transaction and get them those funds sooner. Because that's what we're working on. That's what basically we're working on right now, having a relationship with a entity that has the ACH already in place to help us get these transactions done. So I can't give a time frame, but we're working on the same thing. But they're willing to work with you. Talk to them about an ACH.
Okay, because what I did, I asked for their bank info, so they gave me, a copy of that. I sent that off with the OID.
They need to do it though. They need to do it. You can't do it yourself.
Yeah, they did it. I had them do it, and they gave me their banking info. So I don't know if that's ACH, but the only thing I didn't do is that 8888, because I just learned about that today.
Yeah, they need the 8888 to transfer the funds.
Can I do that one online, or does that one have to be mailed in?
It's online. It's on the irs.gov website.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So even though I sent everything off already, should just mail that one off separate?
You should send that to them. You might want to email it or fax it over to them, since they're already in the process. Okay, I got to go to the next person. We're running out of time. We are almost out of time. I want to answer a couple more questions. All right, everyone has 1 minute to ask a question, because I don't want to miss anybody. All right, Andy.
Hi, Ms. Jackson.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, good. Hey, I'm calling from Australia.
Australia.
And yeah, I just wanted to quickly check. I did the 1099A online before finding you. Do we need to do the hard copy with that as well?
You don't have to, but you can. Okay.
Okay.
You can, and if you do the hard copy, you want to make sure you sign the A copy, because it's an A, B, and C that's together. You want to sign the back of the A copy with your beneficiary signature.
Okay. Yeah, I've got that. The other question was the contract that it's me and my partner, but I did a contract on the sign. What's it called? The DocuSign.
Okay.
But I downloaded the contract prior to doing that. So can she just fill that out manually? Is that okay?
Yes.
To do that and upload it? Okay.
Yeah.
The form 56, I think you've answered. So what else was there? Now we would put a foreign trust in our form 56 because we're obviously outside of the US.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Great. I think that was all. Oh, then one thing I did is about 7 years ago, I contacted the IRS and asked for an EIN for the actual trust. That's the all caps name.
Yeah.
And they actually gave me an EIN, so I'm trying to track that down now. I was unable to get hold of them last week.
Okay.
But I think I'm already listed as a trustee on that. So if that's the case, then there's probably not much need to create a revocable trust at this stage, would there? If it's already recognised as a trust and a trustee on there. The all caps name is actually a trust, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I wrote to them. I started this process a long time ago, But I wrote to them and they gave me an EIN, I believe, as a trustee, but I've got to get clarification. So my point is, if that's already done, then we've already got a trust active, and then I can nominate yourself as a trustee if that's what we need, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
Okay,
All
well, look,
right.
I've got a meeting with you in a week anyway, so we'll talk in more detail. Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for everything you're
welcome.
doing.
Oh, thank you so much. You're welcome. Okay, Mark.
Hello, Miss Jackson.
Hello, hello.
Hey, first of all, thank you so much for all your labor of love, but I'm gonna get right to it. Can you explain, I'm a school teacher, and can you explain the forms necessary to keep me, to walk the line of public and private and to be tax exempt? There were some forms you mentioned. My wife, she's also a notary, and so we want to have those documents in place for our taxes. That's the first part.
First off, you have to do the federal 1779 Declaration of Naturalization.
Okay.
This is because you are considered federal employees. Okay, and this is going to protect you to stay in your position in the public, but also be able to live in the private. Now, tax-wise, you are part of the government, so you will have to continue to pay taxes, unfortunately.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
They will bother you because you are working for them.
Okay, got you. So that includes like being an insurance agent.
Yeah, anything governmental that you had to get a license, notary, police officer, fire department, post office, all government jobs, teacher, you're under the government. So you will have to but guess what? What you can do at the end of the year is what they call, you basically will send in all of your expenses for the year and basically ask for a total refund for every dime you spent. Yeah, you just ask for a total. It's what they call a tax assessment in a sense, but you're going to just make sure you file everything and request a total refund for all of your expenses.
Okay, perfect. Just one more question real quick. The W8BEN, I'm not sure if that's the same form, but there was
the W8BEN, with you being government employees, you won't be able to use that.
Okay. So
actually, I wouldn't take a chance using it, honestly.
Okay.
Because it'll cause conflict for your jobs. Okay.
And so situation where it says, just to add in like a PO box, do you use the brackets around the zip code if it's a PO box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, still use it.
Still use it. Still use the brackets.
On the form, if it says do not use a PO box or in care of address, do we ignore that or do we follow that?
Well, I still put C/O. Okay. Now, if you get a PO box, if you have a PO box that says PO box, then be careful. But you also should have options for a PO box address if it asks you have another mailing address, that's what you would put, where you would put like your PO box or whatever, but use the in care of anyway. And just make sure the brackets or zip extension is put there. Zip exemption is put in there.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
And lastly, so that I remember hearing you say that if your EIN for your business was connected with your social, that could some of the business debt could be considered a bill as well, or can you touch back on that?
Business, when you have debt, any debt that's already assumed, you can write that off because it is under your social, and your business EIN is another situation. So it is connected to you. Any bill that you already have, you can eliminate.
So like we can pay up a lease, like a 2-year lease we're in, that we're leasing out for our business. We can just pay that up.
Yeah, you can pay up a debt. Yes. You just can't make purchases for a business.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, God bless.
God bless. Myron?
Hello, Ms. Jackson. I appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question regarding the bill pay.
Yes.
I have an apartment with my girlfriend, and some of the bills are in her name.
Mm-hmm.
We both paying them. Would I be able to use those bills as my bill expenses, even though they're not directly in my name?
No.
Okay.
No, she would have to do it in her name, or you get permission from her to do the 1099s in her name. Other than that, you can't, because it's going to be a conflict of interest, and it's like identity theft in a sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you say get permission, what would that consist of? Just some
That
letter
consists of her, that's pretty much her saying, you know, if you get her information, her social and all that, and she gives you, you say, honey, can I do these in your name? And she says yes, that's pretty much clear. But she would, you know, I would say just make sure there's documentation that you have authorization from her to do it.
Okay. All right. That
Okay.
sounds cool.
Because you
All
don't
right,
want any conflict to come back later.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Curtis?
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good, good.
Thanks for your work. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you
no
all.
problem. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
I got one question. I'm renting from a landlord. How would I go paying him with a 1099?
You would do I would say do the Treasury 1099 where you can get the funds to pay him. You don't want to try and hand him a 1099 and he's holding on to it, or he's sitting back waiting on funds. So I would say submit it for rent for the next 2 to 3 years total. And then once funds come in, then you send him a certified check or have us transfer the funds to his account.
Okay, I got one more question. The services
Sure.
that I offer on the site, 150 for the trustee and the 1099 and all that. Y'all process all that once we download it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. That's why I'm asking for the authorization forms to get stuff, you know, making sure I have authorization to speak with other entities and everything. And also for us to be able to follow up on your information.
Okay, thank you. Greatly
You're
appreciate
welcome. No problem. Abby?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ms. Jackson.
Hello, hello.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The first question is, I want to say you're absolutely correct. There is so much information and there's so much misinformation out here.
Right,
And
right.
so in case someone runs into this, I'll definitely share. I accidentally apostilled my birth certificate on the state level. And I submitted that birth certificate to the Department of State. Is there something that I can do to fix that, or it's a done deal?
Have you got it back from the federal yet?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Okay. Did you do a non-Hodges country?
Yes, on the state, I did write Taiwan on there. But it was apostilled. So when I took the one from the state and submitted it to send it to the Department of State, I did put Taiwan again. And so I'm just, I did get a certified receipt that they did receive it. So I'm just waiting to hear back.
Okay. That is something we're going to have to look into, because I'm not totally sure what we can do unless you go back and redo it when it comes back. So I would say kind of Google and see what you find, and then also share it with me. So that way I can help try to have that information too, because someone else may run into that same situation. At least we'll be able to log that. But I would definitely try to look into it. I'm not 100% sure if it can be, but you may have to if you have the opportunity to redo the authentication. So
on the state level or
on the state level, on the state
Okay.
level. See, they're on the federal level, you're going to be fine. Because
Oh,
federal level, you'll be fine. So
Okay.
that's not going to be, honestly, long as the federal has it authenticated that way, I think you'll be okay, but I want you to make sure. So just double check it, try to Google and see if you are able to go back and do the authentication instead of the apostle, and just so that way you're comfortable with your decision, okay? And what you're doing. And share that information with me too, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
All right.
The second question that I have, it may not be appropriate to ask here. So
Okay.
is there any way that I can stay on and just talk to you one-on-one? It's about some emails that I sent and some telephone calls that wasn't being answered. But I wanted to talk to you off camera.
Okay, so let me get your number right quick. Hold on.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give you my business number.
No, give me your email first.
Okay. My email is contact@willrothconsulting.com.
W-E.
I'll spell it
L-L.
phonetically for you. Whiskey, India, Lima, Romeo, Oscar, Tango, Hotel. And that's contact us at willrothconsulting.com.
Okay, so as soon as we finish this, look for an email from me as soon as we're done, and we'll communicate from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, Felix. I got 5 minutes. How you doing?
It's a quick question.
Yes.
Me and my wife want to move next year to down south. But before we want to move, we was trying to do a rental to figure out what area we want to move to. Can we do that with the 1099 before we buy property?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you want to at least scope out where you want to go and make sure that you have an idea of the comparables in that area. How much of the house is going for? How much is the land going for? How much is to build? So this way you know how much to put for your 1099. That way, wherever you're moving, you have enough to cover the expenses.
Okay, but we're going to do a rental for a year and then figure out if we want to move there. Like, cause that's what I was thinking first. Because she might not like the area to buy a house. Like, I told her to let's rent first, see if you like the area, and then let's buy a land.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I like it within 6 months.
Right, that makes sense.
And I don't know if we could use a 1099 for rental.
As long as you have the funds up front, you do the 1099 for, find out what the rental expenses are where you want to go, and triple that, for at least a year and a half. That way you can pay up front and have it taken care of and don't have to worry about it. And when you're ready to go, you may be able to get a refund,
I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's pretty much was it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I got 4 minutes. Zara.
Ezra,
I sure messed that up.
Hey,
There
how are
you
you,
go.
Ms. Jackson?
Hi.
And thanks for giving me an opportunity to ask this question. My question is, I was looking at the documents online. I was looking at all the documents and they're all pretty much updated. You went over some today. Now, as far as the 8855, that particular form, do I have to send that back to you first, or can I send that off with the rest of the forms?
You can, the 8855 is for me to be your your trustee. If you were able to do the one that was on the website, it already has my signature.
Yes.
Okay, so if you did that one, you can go ahead and send it off.
And I just date by your name? Should I just date? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that was pretty much it. Also, as far as the I haven't done the 1099 yet. I've been with you for a while, but I had to do some other things. But as far as the 1099, I haven't done those yet, but I'm looking to do those real soon. So but that was my only question. So
okay. All right.
Thank you.
You have a good one. You're welcome.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, Lawanda.
Hi, Ms.
Hi.
Jackson. Hi, everyone. I have a question. I put it in Telegram, so I'm going to read it right here. I was talking to someone on the Rocket Lawyer. There's a question that says, who is the first co-trustee? Or it says, who will carry out the terms of the trust? Is it the sole trustee or the co-trustee? What should I be
Sole trustee.
And then when I choose sole trustee, whose name do I put?
KJ Private Advisory Investments.com. I mean, investors.com. Don't put the .com. Don't do it. Just put the company name.
Okay. So that's why I haven't did this Rocket Lawyer, because I've been waiting to get back in the Zoom to ask that question.
Okay.
I'm done. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Is that Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I got it right. All right.
I just had a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first question I had is on the remittance process and the 1099As, is it necessary to have like a trust or a birth certificate authentication for those things?
It's best to have the authenticated birth certificate to let them know that you are aware and awake, because you are claiming your rights to handle your own affairs. As long as your birth certificate is not authenticated, then that means that you are a minor and you are still in the system and you cannot handle your own business.
Got you. So I know that process takes some time. So if we're not there, my husband and I are trying to go through that process. So if we're not there yet, can we still do the 1099A process?
You can, but you need to make sure that it is in transit, and also your tax documents need to be in transit, because honestly, that is what's going to hold people's money up.
Okay. So
I'm finding that plays a factor for sure.
Okay, that makes more sense. So as far as like the consultant agreement and the authorization form, and I think you mentioned like a history test, a quiz that we take, are all of those things on the same website?
Yes. Now, if you go to the guide and links page on the website, you will see the links to all of that information. So I have it all on that page. You can click on them and it'll open up to the different websites of where the test is, the quizzes, everything I try to keep in one place for you.
And that's the KJ Investments website, right?
that long domain. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
Well, I was going to ask. Hello, how you doing, Ms. Jackson?
I'm good.
I'm sorry. Generally, with the trust process, we had it. We started it, but I guess the question I'm kind of confused.
Okay, never mind. Yeah. I think we're okay on questions for the moment. We'll reach out to you directly if we have another question.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, everyone. I have a date with my husband, so I gotta go. I love you all. If I haven't answered your question, please save it for me. I will try to get to you, or email me. I'm going through the emails, or put it in the chat. Maybe the mods can help you. I will be adjusting the Telegram. If you're not on the Telegram, go ahead to the website and click on the information page to the Q&A page to go ahead and get in. I will look forward to speaking to you all again and assisting you as much as I can. And again, please, please teach those that are around you, at least to help them awaken to the situation that we are in, and that times are changing, and know that we have to learn to be free and utilize our trust, and make sure that everybody's becoming awake and aware of what's happening. So again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your patience and understanding with, everything that's going on. And I look forward to speaking to you all again. And you have a good evening.